Hello, you beautiful creatures. My name is Alexandra with This is Improv, and today we have another episode of Talk About It Tuesday, where we talk about all things the arts and the people who love them. Today, I have a very special guest with me today. It is our first two-time guest because she has a lot of artistic talent that we wanted to reach into. My mother, Aimee Sanchez-Zadak.
Hi, Alexandra.
Hi, Mama.
How are you?
I'm good. Fun fact, we are in the same house.
Yes.
Yes.
But we're very busy and we don't see each other as much as we want to. Although during the day when you're working with me, yes, we do.
Yes.
But we're still in separate rooms during the day.
Yes. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so let's see. I own Balloonatics along with Richard Zadak, your father, and we've been in business since 1992. So that's coming on 30 years in October. So we started the business because we were both trying to make ends meet. And I was going to start going to graduate school. So we figured, hey, this is a good idea. Let's have a balloon company. I used to have a little balloon company in my 20s, and it just was balloon deliveries, and it was called Basket of Dreams. So that's how we started in the balloon business. And it's a story of where we are to where we started. It was not part of our life plan. The life plan was simple, just let's make ends meet and feed our family. And now 30 years later, it's a huge family business. We're very well known in the community. I'm very proud of that. And thank God for the community that surrounded, us. It takes a village. And that's the beginning of our story. There's a lot to be told. There's a lot of great stuff throughout those 30 years.
Yeah. So, wow. 30 years. Okay. So when you guys first started, you tell us this story all the time, but why don't you share with people where you guys started the business?
Okay. So I was working corporate, and so was your dad. So we were both working in corporate positions. We absolutely loved it. It was a company called Electronic Data Systems. It started years ago with Eastern Airlines. That's where we both started. And then, but your dad lived in Colorado, and obviously I've lived in Florida all my life. So we started doing it part-time. While I was working, the interesting thing was that I got a call from the Davie Cooper City Chamber of Commerce, and they said it would be such a great idea if you joined. We saw that you just became a business, when you get your license from the town. And so, but at that time we were in Cooper City, and we lived in a little townhome. So we actually started the business with 6 balloons and a small, probably 3-foot helium tank that we kept inside of our little closet. And we would sell the items to our employees at work. So they would say, hey, I need balloons for someone's birthday. And we were like so excited. Oh my God, we got like 5 balloons to deliver tomorrow at work. So we started with that. And so when you get your license, the chamber gets a copy, and then they did a call and they asked us, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't have time for that. And she was kindly persistent, very sweet. And she said, you know what, I'll meet you at work at lunchtime. So she did. And she told me about the chamber. And I thought that was a great idea. And I said, why not? I know nothing about owning a business. I know nothing about what it takes to start a business. And back then we didn't have Google, we just kind of figured things out, and we went to the library and we said, how do you start a small business? Right. And it says, okay, this is all the licenses and things you need. So that's exactly, so I joined the chamber. And then I found out that I was pregnant with your sister 2 months later. So that was interesting, because I was so tired, and I had started my master's program. Wow. So I remember I kept on falling asleep in class, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm so exhausted. The business isn't even close to booming, right? But it was a little human inside me growing. Yeah, we hit the ground running. I would be blowing balloons with your grandmother because we both had full-time jobs. So we would take weekends, and your grandmother Mima would go with us, with me, to events and help me decorate, because she loved decorating. So that's how it started initially. And then the chamber asked me to be a part of a committee. And again, I said, I don't have time for this. They were kind enough. They said, just go to the communication committee. I did. And it was a great group of people, wonderful, wonderful, caring people from Cooper City and Davie. At that time, we had just bought another house in Cooper City. And I was now in heaven, because the little balloon business that was in that little closet was now in a garage. So I was like, oh my God.
A lot more real estate.
A lot more real estate that I absolutely loved. And in joining that chamber and talking to people, they wanted me to write a newsletter article on the breakfast that was coming up. And the person hosting the breakfast was the Miami Dolphins. And that was in 1993. And so early 93. So I didn't know what I was doing. So I called, and someone from the Dolphins who was handling the breakfast, his name was Rhett Butler Taccone, and I loved Gone with the Wind. So it was definitely a sign that it was meant to be. And I said, your middle name wouldn't be Butler, would it? And he goes, yeah, it is. My dad loves Gone with the Wind, and they named me Rhett Butler. So I told him that my purpose of my call was to see what we could do for him in the chamber and to write a news article. And he didn't know what exactly to say. I didn't know what to say. It was the blind leading the blind. So I told him, why don't I write something and then send it to you? We did have emails in that time, 1993, he's just started. And he said it was great. And I met him at the breakfast, and that afternoon, we really got along. And then that afternoon he called me and he said, hey, we have this thing called Sports Town we want to start at, it was Joe Robbie Stadium at the time. Do you mind giving us a bid? And I'm like, great. Yeah, sure. Not a problem. Obviously didn't know what I was doing. Didn't know how to bid out arches. Here we are, 30 seasons later, we still do work with the Miami Dolphins. Not as much, obviously, no one does that much work in the industry over there, but yeah, here we are.
I know.
And then that you and your sister eventually were in strollers while we were there upstairs in club level doing events until 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, I remember the last time the Dolphins had hosted, or not the last time they had hosted the Super Bowl, but we were young when it was the last time I remember them hosting the Super Bowl. And we had towels in the car, and it's freezing at night in the stadium. And it was already like 10 p.m. No one was there. It was just the cleaning ladies. And we had like our towels bundled up, but then we were also like helping with balloons. And then you're like, girls, why don't you just go and like sleep? We were there until like 6 o'clock in the morning working on Super Bowl everywhere. But it was so, like, to us, we're like, oh my God, it's so much fun. We're in the stadium. It never felt like, I never thought that Balloonatics felt like work to me. I think because we grew up with it, that it was like, I even remember when you would be blowing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of balloons when I was younger, and like in our house, we just had all these balloons just on our ceiling getting ready for New Year's, and just like weaving through the balloons. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a balloon forest. And I'm here like 6 going, woo, or like hiding in the balloon clusters on the floor before you put them on an arch and things like that. I mean, to us, it was like a playground within the work. And I want you to tell me why were balloons the focus rather than over like flowers or just decor?
Well, when I was in my 20s, I went to a party. I lived in Miami. So I went to a party, and it was someone who owned a bank, and it was a beautiful high rise in Miami. And the ceiling was full of star foil balloons, and the dance floor is beautiful, just absolutely gorgeous. And I had never seen balloons decorated that way before. Usually you relate balloons, and we've all related balloons to just kiddie parties, So when I went there, it's so elegant. And then the centerpieces were mimes on a crescent moon. So it was an actual ceramic mine sitting on a crescent moon made out of styrofoam, beautifully done. And then there was a bouquet with little stars and balloons going up. And it was like the most beautiful thing. And I remember back then, that must have been in 1980. Maybe, that it was, they went for $300. They auctioned it off because it was a cancer fundraiser. And I remember, oh my God, that's so beautiful. And then that's when I started the little balloon business, just to make, again, extra cash to go to undergrad. Because I was majoring in psychology. I was working during the day, going to FIU at night. And so I thought, this would be nice extra cash, and I would do that on weekends. And that's how it just became balloons. Flowers, I love doing flowers. I love all that, but balloons was just a thing. And it was a very hard sell, to be quite frank, because again, balloons are for children. And now the industry has 100% changed. I mean, it is an industry that we don't even recognize right now, with what we call organic arches, which are all the balloons that are different sizes. But back then, and for many years, you could not sell a bride a balloon arch if your life depended on it. Just a beautiful arch. You could not do that. If you mentioned to a bride a balloon drop, a balloon, it would be insane. I said balloon drop because that's how I started doing weddings. I would pitch this idea to the brides that their first dance wouldn't be coming down. And when the balloons start cascading, then everybody joins you for the dance. So it became kind of like a little show, if you will. And that's how I sold a lot of balloon drops for weddings. So now actually brides use them. That's your Instagram moment. You need balloons, you need the organic balloon arch, and you need it customized, and you need it with your name. And it's just, they're beautiful. The colors are beautiful. The textures are beautiful. So we've created a whole different world with balloons, and I love it. I really love it. It's anything that's new is worth, working towards.
Yeah. Now you are much, much more than just a balloon lady. You have your doctorates in education. You are you teach psychology over at NSU. You are the president of the Davie Cooper City Chamber of Commerce at the moment. You are the president of the Davie Women's Club. You're covering all of your corporate work and community bases constantly. So how do you still stay obsessed with balloons? Because I mean, like, working with you in the office, you're still like, oh my gosh, this would be so cool if we did this, and it would be so cool if we did this. So how do you stay passionate about your art?
Because I think trust me, balloons were never a part of my life plan. My life plan was, go for my master's and my doctorates, and then life happens. You were mentioning when you were younger how you thought it was fun, it was just nice. Our plan, your father's and I, was always to be there for you and your sister, no matter what. Every play, every school thing that you had, it didn't matter what it was. We were going to be there. We would volunteer at school. We would do car lines in the morning. So the balloons really, I don't know why the universe took us there, but the balloons were really a blessing for us to do that, because when I started my master's, I got a job as an adjunct at the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale. And then the balloon business, since we had met with the Miami Dolphins, they introduced us to the Miami Marlins at the time. So we did both of their World Series, and then they introduced us to the Florida Panthers, which, we're still doing business with. So that relationship gave us the opportunity to, I resigned from a job that I actually loved, because I was able to travel and train and strategically plan things, which I absolutely loved, with other groups. There's a lot of team building. But this gave me the opportunity to follow another passion. I never thought of, oh, I have to give up one thing to do another. I was just kind of going with the flow of, okay, this opportunity is now. I'm not sure where it's going to take me, but this is what's in front of me. So I started teaching. I started actually working EDS part-time just for a while. And then when the balloon business got so big, because the Marlins were having so many, they wanted us to decorate every single event. And if you know the games, there's tons of games for baseball. So we were doing, again, at the stadium, we were doing all the Marlin decor every time they played home games, actually taking vacation days to do the Marlins. And your dad was working and traveling, so it was either me and whoever else I could grab to help me. So, you know, that there's a lot of stuff that happens. I'm extremely blessed that the balloons have been my passion, because trust me, many times I said, I think I'm going to close shop because I need to do my end goal game, which was, you know, teaching and strategic planning and working for other corporate accounts. And then somehow what happened was I had the best of both worlds. I ended up juggling both. And it was like, wow, that's interesting that this is happening. Not 100% well. I wasn't 100% doing this and I wasn't 100% doing that. But Balloonatics took a good 75% of my time. And then of course you have great people working with you, because I had your Aunt Ali that was working with me. And then I had Melissa. I had a whole bunch of people that were really great. And then of course you two, I've got to share this story. You two were extremely a surprise, because you were always hanging out with us, but you were never really put to work. And then there was an event that we went to do, and someone who was supposed to show up didn't show up for that event, and it was a prom, and all I had were you two, and I think you must have been 10 and Angelica was 12. And so I said, girls, we have to leave now. There's an event that's going on. It was a prom at Pier 66. I'll never forget. It was over 25 centerpieces, and I'm putting things in the van and throwing things in the van. And while, you know, I'm in the back, I'm telling you, prepping you like I would have prepped anybody else, saying, okay, when we get there, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And all of a sudden you girls are telling me, oh, we put all the batteries in the candles and we took the wrapping off the candles, and okay, we're ready. And I'm like, what? You had prepped it before I even told you we were going to do that on site, and you guys were doing it in the backseat of the car to save time. And when we were on site, it was even a better surprise, because you all were like doing quality check, making sure everything was perfect. And I'm like, what the heck? So I remember calling Norma, a friend of mine, and you know Norma, and I tell her, Norma, I think I've got clones. And she said, what do you expect? They've been watching you for so many years. So you guys rock it in the business. I'm extremely excited about that, because you're just as passionate, you know, both of you, you're just as passionate about, I think it's not about the balloon. It's about the people. So you all want to make sure that that customer is happy, and we take it very personal. You know, I do. I take it personal. Every event is it's the only event. And we don't care if it's a bouquet. If you want to see me get upset is when a client goes, oh, I'm sure it's not a big deal for you. It's only blah, 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 blah. And I'm not upset at the client, I'm upset at myself, because I would never want anybody to think that we would take an event only because it's large. We've take anything, and it's first come, first serve. I mean, we've never say, well, you know, sorry, I can't do this event because this event came in. We've turned down big events because we have already a commitment. Yeah. So I think it's really important to understand that what we cherish and enjoy, and when we often make all these customers happy, I think that's what keeps us going. That, oh my God, they loved it. They did this, they did that, That's what I think keeps us going and excited, and our customers trust us. They let us be creative.
I think it's true. I think the people really help us along the way, because there have been times when Like when I made that pregnant woman out of balloons for the baby shower. And this woman was so grateful that she sent a picture afterwards with the balloon. And then it was like a month later and she still had the balloon. And she was like, I just love it so much. I don't want to take it down.
Right.
And I was like, oh, thank goodness that you like it so much, because we also do balloon sculptures. So making things, making life-size versions of either animals or people or structures to make them look as realistic as possible, but with balloons.
No, we have to make, we have to make them all out of conduit. And it's actually what you do is you do a structure first out of a material, whether it's conduit or what do you call this, mesh or whatever we do it out of. So first we have to do that. And then you sculpt it with the balloons with different sizes and make sure that it becomes very true and real. And I remember her and I trying to figure out, does that look like a flamingo? Trying to bend the legs and that was our first flamingo. And it was a 5-foot pink flamingo. And everybody, again, loved it because, yeah. So yes, it's a lot of working and figuring out and trying to be passionate about it.
And I mean, even our most simple orders, because we do the balloon deliveries for birthdays, anniversaries, whatever, through our delivery system. And was it 2 days ago? I was worried about this birthday order that I had because it was time sensitive and I just wanted it to go well because the lady was turning 103. And those are always the ones that you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to make this special for them. And then I did a courtesy call just to make sure that the delivery went well. Mm-hmm. And her daughter was saying, oh my God, it was so beautiful. I understand the whole obsession with balloons now. Yeah. I'm going to do this again. This is amazing. And it's those little conversations you have with people throughout such a stressful week, because this was Valentine's Day week, it happens the whole week. Those little conversations really make the client just boost your pride with your work. Right. And then let you know, oh, okay, that was a good job. And they're so happy about it. Like they turn into kids again,
Well, somebody asked me a long time ago, what do balloons and psychology have in common? Like, where's the link here that you're doing both? And not on purpose, I need to stress that all the time because it's a fact, but it makes people happy. Like psychology, your goal is that someone walks away a little bit happier or with peace of mind. And with the balloons, your goal is to make someone happy. So I think that that's the common denominator, common link to both of them. But, it's funny because I need to stress, obviously you mentioned a little bit about the balloon deliveries. And this is, I think I'm passionate about business. And when people tell me they want to start their business, I'm like, oh my God, I'll help you, because I was probably the best textbook of not giving up and trying things and not getting upset because I have to go to graduate school and this is what I need to do. And this is what's going to happen, but being flexible. So with Balloon Planet, that was a whole other different story because I was on the internet looking for something, and the internet it's when everybody used to say, oh, surf the internet kind of thing. Yeah. And there was this man who was part of an organization called Quality Balloon Network, which we are a part of. It's a balloon network. Right. And so Jim was starting a program of balloon deliveries. And I read what it said, seeking balloon decorators who are interested, So I immediately sent him an email and I said, this is great. I would love to do it. And he wrote back and he said, I'm sorry, you have a home-based business. Because in these 30 years, we've always been considered a home-based business. And I didn't want it any other way. He emailed me back and it was like, oh, that was a hit in the chest. And I'm like, but I don't understand. We're going to be doing deliveries. No one's going to come into our place. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't we? And that's what I'm self-thinking. I didn't share this with him initially. How can I present that instead of saying, what do you mean? I didn't want to come across like having a temper tantrum. So I emailed him and I said, I absolutely understand your concern. However, if you could just take a look at the events I've done, I can give you referrals, and we wouldn't have clients coming in. We would be delivering to them. The focus was, please look at my referrals. Please research me, and please give me an opportunity.
Mhm.
So the worst thing would be that you tell me, I'm sorry, you can't do it. And he said, you know what, let's try you. And it was like, what? I was, then this is what happens. This is, again, fear. Fear. Oh my God, just like the dolphins. What am I doing? I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. You just say yes, and then you go, how did that word come out of my mouth?
Mhm.
That was in 2006, maybe. So
Mhm.
it's been a while. It's been a while. And we handled Tri-County, and we're one of the largest partners. We're what we call a zone 4. So we carry every supply, everything that Jim sells. And he's a brilliant designer, brilliant ideas. He's got a great team in Seattle. And we love working with him.
Now, I want to ask you a couple of questions about tacos. My first question is, do you prefer your tacos spicy, mild, or plain?
Mild, for sure.
Mild. Okay. I've gotten this a lot, that people do not put rice in their tacos. Do
Mhm.
you put rice in your taco?
No, burrito, yes. Taco, no.
Hmm.
Absolutely not. That's weird.
Now, what? What?
Not that I'm judgmental. It would be, let me rephrase that. That would be very weird for me. That I don't like the texture of that. That's weird. It's
I always put rice in my tacos.
I know. But again, it's not a judgment call. It's just like, no.
So, do you have hard shell or soft shell tacos?
If I'm going to have a taco, it has to be hard shell.
See,
Soft
you're the
shell
weird
doesn't
one.
even make sense. I mean, that's someone.
But the hard shell scratches the roof of your mouth.
Okay, again, not judging, but I don't like it.
Okay. So let's switch gears here with the taco.
Okay.
I want you to convince me. I want you to just tell me a little bit of a story to convince me why your preferred taco is the best taco.
So my preferred taco is the best taco.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my favorite taco is the chicken with guacamole and lots of onions and garlic taco. First, chicken, it could be vegetarian too, but chicken, garlic, and onions. You know how I feel about those two combos. They're extremely healthy for you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no taste. It gives it that kind of Spanish little tang, like the sauteed onions and the garlic. So I would absolutely love that. But to convince someone it's just tasty, it just has all the elements for you to have that amazing craving, just get satisfied. I'm getting hungry right now.
I know. We haven't had dinner yet, by the way.
Creatively, I would do the chicken. Oh, and also the lettuce. Lettuce is very important. Very important. And it's funny because I don't like iceberg lettuce. I don't.
Yeah.
But you have to have iceberg lettuce on a taco. You can't have like spinach or anything like that. That's different.
I don't mind spinach on a taco.
Yeah. I don't know. But the key, you're dealing with health. You're not putting, you're not eating meat, but although you're eating chicken, I'd even love a salmon taco. Those are really, really good. Oh my God, I don't know what to say now. I love all these tacos.
See, my preferred is shrimp taco.
Yes.
Those are good.
Those are good too. Yes. I mean, tacos are just amazing. Tacos are just a feel good meal. It really is. And that crunch, the reason I love crunch. I love
you do.
So yeah, so it satisfies emotion, it satisfies taste, it satisfies hunger. Why would you not have a taco?
Okay. And if what is something that I cannot tell just by looking at you? So it can be like a fun fact or anything.
There's a couple things. Can I say more than one?
Sure.
Okay. Well, first, that I'm Hispanic, that I'm Cuban. That's like, everyone tells me that. That's the only reason I would say that. I know my heavy accent gives it away, but it doesn't.
I can't tell you how many times people have spoken Spanish and then my mom responds to them and they're like, what?
Yeah, I love that. That's like a hidden talent. To talk to people, it's like my hidden talent. And it's funny because you start talking to them and then they don't say anything. The beauty is that they don't say anything at the moment. And then later, like if we're caught in a moment alone, it's like, I didn't know you spoke Spanish, and it's so kind and they're very kind. It's like, yeah, I do. And some people say I have a Southern accent. I don't know what that means, but
well, you listen to country music all the time in the car when you would take us to school.
Yes, but they say it's like a Florida Southern accent. And
yes, we're from Davie. We're Florida Southern.
But I know you're right, but I grew up in Miami. So that's one thing. Second thing, I think creativity. I think everybody sees me as very analytical, because of the psychology and all that and the corporate. But I think I create things in my head constantly, especially when we're talking about balloons, the balloonatic part, anything that has to do with that. I mean, I am obviously analytical. I have the best of both worlds, but I think my creativity is more, if I were supposed to say what percentage do you use a day in creativity, even when I was seeing clients and patients in therapy, I would say easily 85% is creativity.
Yeah.
Even in therapy, it was being creative. So how do you connect with the customer? How do you connect with the patient?
Yeah.
How do you connect with another human? All that is creativity because you're trying to figure out what is this person like and how can I connect with them in a sincere and trustworthy way. My mother used to carry a bag, your grandmother, and it always had stuff in there for kids, always. And I have a very big memory and gift that she gave me on doing that. Like I'll have fans, sometimes I have 5 of those fans in there in case someone's hot. Here you go. And they're like, okay, what is she selling them? So, or something for a child that you can just give them and they'll feel better, I know it sounds a little creepy, but it's not. So my mother
yeah.
And when we went to the doctors and there was a baby crying, she would take out a little miniature coloring book with crayons and say, oh, here, she'd carry things like that. And I think, again, it's instilled in how do we make people happy? What can we do to just make people happy? And, it's a balloon, yes, but our slogan is it's not just a balloon on a string. And that goes so much farther than the artwork. It's not just a balloon and a string means it comes to you with meaning from us and it's special. And I think that's what we cherish at Balloonatics.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. A lot of the designs and, I'm sure by now I've put like at least 20 photos of the designs we've done throughout this episode, but it's amazing how something either extremely grand or something so small can just make someone's perspective just change completely or just switch their mood for the day. I mean, we've done weddings where brides were scared, nervous, whatever, and then they finally see and they're like, oh, thank goodness. Thank you so much. I feel like I didn't have to worry, and I think that's everyone's fear is that they have to worry about so much that when they do see the stuff that you create, it's like that final relaxation of, oh my gosh, this is so nice, and we've always had that. We've always seen that moment of, oh, like that that moment where they stop, kind of like when your food gets to you at a restaurant, you're like, oh my God, that looks delicious. It's the same thing with the balloons. When the final product gets there, they're just in awe and also relieved. And it's like this little weight gets lifted from their shoulders, or it just brightens their day, or they, have that moment of just
It's
being
that moment
there.
in time, right?
Yeah.
Just that moment in time. And we love it. And
Yeah.
now it's a great family business, and you're a big part of it. We're lucky. I mean, you have an eye, you had training, so you had your college training, your theater training, so you have a great eye for things. And we can enjoy the fact that as your dad and I get older, you guys come up with so many great ideas and so many strategies throughout the business. There are key strategies because there's so much behind the scene logistics.
Right.
Logistics is a huge part. There's so many pieces behind the scenes that for you all to have picked up on it so easily, which comes from your background of, training, not only from us, but from people that have trained you, makes a huge difference. And again, you have the work ethic of showing up, which if you didn't show up, you'd have to answer to us. So of course
it's kind of hard to not show up when you kind of
we can drag you out of your bed,
walk over to work. Yeah.
Brought a lot of people into the studio that are amazing, that are your friends, and they have great work ethics, and they've worked with us hand in hand. And we've just met so many nice people along the way that are still friends. Yeah. I mean, they're lifelong friends. And we're blessed to be able to work with them. We're blessed that they've come in here and into our house, because the reality is it's the backyard, it's a studio in the back of the house, but it's our property. And we've been blessed that everyone's been kind and like I said, longtime friends. And that's what what else can you ask for?
Yeah. I mean,
it's hard work. I mean,
yeah, I never noticed when I was younger. And I think, and Joke and I always say this, when we were younger, we had no idea that you guys worked, it didn't click to us, because like you said, you always made sure to be there. And it's true. If we ever had to be involved in your work, you made it into games and you made it fun. It was never, you never put us in that situation of, this is stressful, we have a deadline, like anything like that. We were just there, and we saw all of these magical things that you created from your brain that and then threw up in front of us. And it's just incredible to see a lot of the art that you've created and are still creating, because a lot of people don't realize how much you can do with balloons, that it is an art. It is a sculptural art that you do, that you are constantly coming up with in your head. And I think Angelica and I learned problem solving mainly from you, because you were doing some, in the past, it was like the set pieces and the fabrics and props and all this stuff. And that's where we got like our obsession with, events and this side of things. And then seeing some of the entertainment that would come into parties and that whole side. I mean, we didn't know anything else. So when we went into college, it was like, oh, this is normal. Yeah, no, let's do this. Let's do that.
I mean, it's a lot of hard work. It's funny because now on Instagram and TikTok, I see a lot of new designers that say, oh, it's a lot of work. Nobody understands how much hard work it is. And you're right, but so is everything else. Digging a ditch in Florida in the summer, it breaks my heart to see people work so hard. So you kind of have to balance it out. Yes, it's a lot of work, but any business owner knows, you and your sister know from being business owners, that it is not a 9-to-5 job. And you're right, you don't have a boss. You have as many bosses as you have clients. Every single one of your client you report to. So when people go, oh, I want to own my own business so that I can, be my own boss, that's not going to happen, because you're going to be reporting to every single person that hires you is now in charge of you. And you bring your expertise and your know-how. And obviously, you know, there's limits, but if you don't see it that way, then customer service, anybody can go anywhere and get a balloon. Anyone, anywhere, anyone can go anywhere and get a beautiful floral arrangement. That goes for every business. Even artists, when, you know, they're a specific, oh, well, I'm an artist and I only do this type. Yeah, but there's other artists. And if you don't sell with kindness and be gentle, that's not going to last very long.
Yep.
So, you know, we just kind of are very, very blessed that we know that we respect the client. And there's tough moments with clients. You know that, I know that, everybody who owns a business knows that. And you just have to take a deep breath and say, did I do the best I could? Was I fair? Was I truthful? Was I honest? And then that's it. If you answer yes to all those questions, then you know what? You chalk it up to the moment. Some people, you can't work together. I had a surgeon who said that once. He walked into a patient to give a consult, and for some reason he felt like it was a connection that he couldn't have, and he says, I'm sorry, I can't do your surgery. Go figure, a surgeon, you know, who you would think, who cares? But it goes for everybody. So it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of work. And if you're really passionate about something and you're a business owner or a surgeon or anything in a profession that is dedicated to humans, you are going to work hard. And I shouldn't have said humans because it has to do with animals as well. So as long as you're a business owner, it's hard work, and you are going to be doing whatever you want during the day. And then at night, you're going to be doing the books.
Yep.
That's not fun.
That's the not fun part. Well, thank you so much for being here on the show again, because this is another art form that a lot of people don't recognize that you do. So thank you so much for being here. It was a lot of fun learning about this side of art, which not a lot of people know about.
Well, thanks for having me again on my other side of my brain.
Yeah. This is full right side. Full right side. So yes, my mom works with us very often in This is Improv. If you ever want to see any of her sketches, you can watch them. They're called Acting Sane. All of the playlists are linked down below. So you just go on to Sketch Comedy and you can see some of her work there. She's worked with a lot of people that we've interviewed, including Jason Narvi, Angelica, and I. So definitely check those out. They're really fun. We 100% get a lot of our artistic side from our mother. So please make sure, if you ever need balloons and you are in Florida, please contact Balloonatics FLA. I will be linking everything down below in the description to link you to my mom's balloon business so that you can check out some of that fun stuff, and maybe you'll order from us and you'll get a nice, lovely delivery. So yes, thank you so much for being on here. If you guys want to take any improv classes, please go to www.thisisimprov.com and sign up today for kids, teens, and adults. We also do corporate team building. You can just give us a phone call or write us an email and we will contact you with all the details. If you like histories, mysteries, and ghost stories of Florida, that's right, the weird and wacky, crazy world that we live in Florida, we have a podcast called This is Legends of Yesterday, where we talk about all of that and more. And if you would like to meet Angelica and I in person on our comedy, historical, and ghost tours of Davie, you can go to www.thisistourist.com and sign up today for your tickets. We have that walking tour, and let me tell you, some of the haunted locations here in Davie, Florida are incredible, including the Old Davie School Historical Museum. Thank you so much, you beautiful creatures, for joining me. I hope you have some tacos today, considering it is the day of the Tuesdays of the tacos. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.